They say everything's bigger in Texas, and tonight, for some of these drivers, there's no race bigger than what happens here at Texas Motor Speedway as we close out the first round of the playoffs. We are going to go down to 6 drivers after tonight. We'll get into the points here in just a second. But this is going to be a race here for a lot of these drivers trying to make their way into the second round. And for some drivers that are on the top, just making sure that they're keeping pace and continuing to have success out there on the track, whether they're locked in to the next round or not. As I take a look at the points here, David Lurfano still up top. Came into the playoffs with 4 wins, 5 poles. He's got 1,102 points. Behind him, a very, very rejuvenated Chad Snyder. Ever since he changed from the 5 to the 26, he has been on fire. He comes in second atop the points with 1,094. Cameron Harris, John Higgins tied, David Hara. They're 1088, and Patrick McQuaid tied with Charles Dickey with 1076. Now, right now, it does show Patrick McQuaid above the cutoff line and Charles Dickey right below. So, one way or another, one of those drivers has a chance to make it in to the final 6. Behind them, though, still having a shot at the playoffs, Joshua Hetrick, 1,072. Tyrone Yo, 1,070. So, only 6 points behind that cutoff right now. Tyrone Yo, not going to be able to sit in the back on this one, Tyrone. You want to make it into the playoffs. Tonight is the night. No more holding back. No more nice guy on the track. Get yourself that 6th playoff spot. Joshua Hetrick, I know, had some words throughout Discord this week saying, hey, it's go time. It's put up or shut up time. And things get a little hairy. He's going to try to make sure he's on top and into the playoffs. So, again, David Hara, 1088, Patrick McQuaid, and Charles Dickey, 1076. Those are your bottom of those top 6. John Higgins Jr. tied with Cameron Harris with 1090 apiece. Those guys, unless something crazy happens, they're probably secure for the next round. And, of course, Chad Snyder and David Lurfano. Lurfano running away with the points there. I mean, 1,102 this round, if you will, of playoffs, round number 1. So those are going to be your points, and those are the drivers that we're going to emphasize and take a look at here tonight. David Hara, McQuaid, Dickey, Hetrick, and Yo. Let's take a look at how these drivers have fared in the practice session. Look like Kyle Martin with that top spot. So we're not going to take a look at the practice session. Perfect timing on that one. That rarely happens up here in the booth. We're going to go right into the qualifying session. And speaking of one of those drivers that we're going to look at, Tyrone Yo in the 2-car, wasting very little time getting out there on track. He's the first driver off of pit road. Now, he's one of those drivers that does have a chance to make it in to round 2 of the playoffs, but he's really going to have to chug here tonight. He's going to have to pick up a lot of points, and he's going to have to hope that some of those drivers that are sitting in that 4th and 5th spot, and especially the 6th, obviously, has a little bit of bad luck tonight for him to kind of sneak in to that 6th spot. But this is why we do the races. This is why we're on the track. This is why they practice all week. So Tyrone, looking for a big night. Now, talking about a sponsor that has really stuck by its driver, it's the blue-gray plastic fabrication sponsoring David Hara for the last season and a half. And of course, coming in tonight, big sponsoring this race, Texas Motor Speedway. This is the Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication 100. So shout out to those guys at Blue Gray. They've been supporting their driver in the 15 car for a very long time and should be very happy with the results of their driver on the track. Ever since David Hara has stepped into these next-gen cars, he's really only been a shadow to David Lurfano. He's had many top fives, podiums, got his first win with the All-American Racing League early in the season with these next-gen cars. So a nice step up for Blue Gray there, sponsoring an entire night of racing. Shout out once again to Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. And of course, a sponsor of our own, Precision Graphics. They do all our pre-race coverage. Search up Precision GRPX on Facebook. Get your next paint scheme done here tonight. And let me tell you something. I got involved with Precision Graphics. I had them do one of my cars, and then I reached out to him and said, hey, let me get some team paint jobs. And he painted 4 of my Xfinity drivers in another league. And word got around. Pictures were sent throughout the Discord. And now really making an impact here with All-American Racing League, doing a handful of these drivers' paint schemes. So you talk about a designer, a paint scheme designer on the up. It's definitely Precision Graphics. Precision GRPX on Facebook. Take a look. Check them out. Use code FADEDTV for 10% off. Alrighty, so I believe that's going to be qualifying session. And hey, speaking of Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication, it's the 15 car. David Hara with that top spot, 29.81, followed by Joshua Hetrick in the Orr Lawn Care Chevrolet with a 29.83. Kyle Martin, who did have the fastest practice time, and of course Cameron Harris now besting Joshua Hetrick for that second spot in his Toyota Camry. Kyle Martin drops down to 4th, 29.84. John Higgins Jr. in the 19. They're in 5th. Following those guys, Garnes, Lorfano. He's down on the not where he's used to be, outside the top 5 right there with a 29.88, tied along Patrick McQuaid. Behind those guys, Johnny May, Chad Snyder, and the rest of the gang. We'll get into the grid when these guys get down on pit road. Just waiting for the qualifying session to officially come to an end. There we go. 30 seconds left. Last couple of seconds here for these guys who have teammates here. Most of the drivers are on teams. There's a couple of free agents. There's a couple of development drivers, in this league, or in this series, I should say, on Tuesday nights. Their sister league or lawn care truck series run on Sundays. That's really the developmental league here for these guys. They start in the trucks on Sundays. You don't got to be the fastest. You don't got to go out there and wow anybody and win a bunch of races. If you can race clean, you got a good attitude, they'll call you up to the Cup Series. David Hara outlasted everybody in the qualifying session. There he is with his driver profile picture. Gets me every single time. There we go. There's the 15. Cameron Harris second. He's been making a name for himself in the truck series mostly, but let me tell you something. Really coming out with these next-gen cars as well. He's had a pretty good season up to this point. He's been in contention in a handful of races here on Tuesday, and he's going to be starting on the front row here as we do get into our official grid We read off the top 5 with John Higgins Jr. back in 6th, Larry Garnes, David Lurfano 7th, McQuaid in 8th, Johnny May 9th, Jeremy Flanagan in 10th, Chad Snyder in 11th, and Tyrone Yo going to be in 12th. And on the back end of this grid, it's going to be Adam Angerstein in 13th and Nathan Christensen in 14th, with Charlie Dickey, one of those guys that's right there on the threshold of making it into the next round. Going to be starting in the back in 15th. So we take a look at the time session, 2 hours and 23 minutes remaining to go. 2 hours and 25 minutes, I believe, was the official session time. So plenty of time to get 100 laps done here at Texas Motor Speedway in the blue-gray plastic fabrication 100. Of course, the series, Truckers Feed America series, brought to you by Top Sail Trucking. And we have the formation lap started. All the cars out there on the track tonight. Now, if you notice a little bit of a smaller grid here tonight, sometimes that happens in leagues. When they're in these cutoff races and getting deeper and deeper into the playoffs, you'll have some non-playoff drivers sit out a race or two, or maybe the rest of the season, trying not to get into the way of the drivers that are competing for not only a playoff spot, but essentially for the championship. So that's what we see here tonight. 15 cars here at Texas Motor Speedway. The 15 car starting up front. Rocking a little bit of a different color paint scheme there. I like that coming out of David Hara. Cameron Harris as well, ditching the DoorDash for the Navy. And here we go. Going to wait for that green light and the green flag to drop. See Cameron Harris giving up a lot of room to David Hara on the outside there, but with a nice start, the 27, making up a little bit of ground. See if he loses any spots with Joshua Hetrick there on the inside, who started P3. Doesn't look like it right now. 25 without a clear. We'll see on the backstretch here out of turn 2. Joshua Hetrick dealing with some bleeding issues. Going to have to get that under control if he wants to remain up top and not receive the OL. Coming out of turn 4, lap 1, going to be in the books. David Hara leading the lap. You see Cameron falling back just a little bit. Kind of got stuck on that outside line. Not much he can do, but no big deal here. Only lap 2 out of 100. He's chilling. You got David Lurfano now on the move. He's up 2 spots in the early going on the inside of the 27 of Cameron Harris. That's for 4th. Kyle Martin also with some blinking issues. He's down 2 spots. Back to 6th. Johnny May on the move. The 77 of Patrick McQuaid following suit. Way up on the outside is the 20 car of Larry Garnes. Maybe just trying to keep his car clean here in the beginning. He goes way up high, lets a few cars pass, including the 9 of Adam Angerstein and the 26 of Chad Snyder. See Kyle Martin up there on the outside. Looks like he's going to get passed by the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. He sure does. So Martin off to a little bit of a rough start now, down 4 spots back in 8th. And Larry Garnes, unfortunately, down 5 spots back to 11th. But now up front, there's contention for the lead. Here comes the 25 of Joshua Hetrick. Again, he's still fighting for that playoff spot as well. And he needs a little bit of work. He needs a little bit of chips to fall his way to secure that playoff spot. Right now, he finds himself up there in 2nd. Yeah, Hetrick 1072. 1072, right behind Charlie Dickey and Patrick McQuaid, who have 1076. So here in the early going, David Hera representing not only the race sponsor here tonight, but what's been his sponsor for the last season and a half, has that 15 car, leading all 6 of the opening laps. Joshua Hetrick trying to do all he can to fight his way into the playoffs. John Higgins Jr. and David Lofano each up a couple of spots in 3rd and 4th, and Johnny May in the 69 car, right there on the outside of Patrick McQuaid, was up 4 spots until that pass happened. We'll see if he gets stuck on the inside, as now Kyle Martin is trying to bounce back, get up to his 4th place position that he started off with. But for now, just going to sit back behind Johnny May, single file. These are your top 7 drivers right here. In fact, if you go back to Kyle Martin, he's about 3/4 of a second in front of Chad Snyder. So these top 7 cars really starting to pull away from the field here in the early going. Now we've seen this run from Hetrick here the last couple of laps, really having a tough time, really contending for this top spot. He's been on David Hera's bumper pretty much this whole way through the last couple of laps, but just not really being able to find that line to make the pass. And at least here in the early going, you see a lot of these cars sticking to that white line, bottom feeding here at Texas. And we've seen what happens when a car tries that high side and gets stuck out there. Well, you get passed. So a lot of these cars single file right now, and all going through the corners low with that high corner exit, trying to carry as much speed and momentum onto the back stretch as possible out of turn 2. Right now they're out of turn 4, coming across the front stretch here. And there it is. You see Joshua Hetrick on the outside there, and once you get stuck, you're stuck. He's going to fall back from 2nd to 5th. As Johnny May in the 69 is going to check up in front of him. And now we are 2 wide here just for a moment down the backstretch. Joshua Hetrick trying to bounce back from that. He dips down low and below the 69 and below the 19 of John Higgins Jr. So Joshua Hetrick back up to 3rd. Teammates, David Hera, David Lofano, running 1 and 2. And here comes that 8 car of David Lofano. Trying to put in some work on his teammate here. Lap 13 out of 100. All green so far and all led by the 15 so far. And here comes Joshua, tried peeking on the inside. David drops down low, cuts that off. So a nice little rebound for the 25 car. Looked like he was going to get in trouble when he dropped from 2nd to 5th. And a lot of times when that happens, it's really hard to bounce back the way that he has, back up to 3rd. But as we say that, here comes the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. Looks like Josh a little bit better down the front stretch there. Going into turn 3 and 4, the 77 was right on the back bumper of Hetrick. And as you see, crossing the front stretch there, really no issue there. Here comes Joshua Hetrick on the inside of the 8. Let's see if he sends it down low. He does. Will he have enough to make the pass? Our live timing says he does. Can he get the clear? Yes, he does. And there's the 77 Patrick McQuaid, almost touching the 25 there. 25 swings way up high and then back down low. Now it's David Lurfano's turn to get stuck up on that high side. There's McQuaid, Adam Engerstein on the inside. Kyle Martin trying to follow suit. Not too sure who he should stay behind. He was kind of back and forth behind the 9 and the 8. 27 of Cameron Harris had a little bit of a drop-off at the beginning of this race, down 5 spots, back to 7th. You see him, though, lingering behind Kyle Martin. John Higgins Jr., another car who's lost some positions here. He's down 3 spots, back to 8th. Johnny May, who at one point looked like he was going to crack the top 5, back in 9th. So not too sure what happened with the 69 car, but certainly losing some time and some positions. Larry Garnes in 10th, Jeremy Flanagan 11th. I think Jeremy's first race. Well, maybe this is his first race. I'm not too sure if it was last week or tonight. Chad Snyder coming in second overall in points. He's only dropped a spot. He came in and qualified 11th, currently sitting around there in 12th. And one of the drivers that we said really needs to make a move here was Tyrone in the 2. And so far, a little bit slow for that 2 car. He's sitting 13th. And Charlie Dickey in the 37. You see him back here all by himself. He's about 8.5 seconds off the leader. And he was tied for that 6th spot. So Charlie Dickey with the 37 really needing to make a push. Now you see the green spoiler on some of these cars. Those lime green spoilers. Go back up to David Hara. You see the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. That indicates they're a playoff driver. Okay, so Adam Engerstein, for example, he's got an orange spoiler. He's not a playoff driver. It's simple as that. There's 2 playoff drivers right now. The 25 car on the outside of David Lurfano. That's Joshua Hetrick taking the 4th spot. On the outside, this is really the first time that we've seen that outside carry a little bit of weight. We'll see if it holds off of turn 2 onto the back stretch. Looks like it will, and here comes Cameron Harris up to 5th. Making the pass on the outside of David Lurfano. And as with 20 laps in here at Texas, we may see a shift in racing line. These drivers may start pushing up to the high side as the tire wear starts to kick in. Back to 4th. David Harris still leading this race. David Lurfano dropped back to 6th. Now we see Lurfano doing this a lot. He'll show face up front and then he'll slowly and quietly drop back before making a surge at the end of these races. So that might, no panic there for the 8 team of David Lurfano. But now Patrick McQuaid and Adam Engerstein currently running 2nd and 3rd. Nice little run for these guys. Adam Engerstein on the outside there, he's up 10 spots in the 3rd. Patrick McQuaid up a total of 6. Rocking that 2nd place for the moment. You see Joshua Hetrick on the outside, 27 of Cameron Harris. We talked about his up and down night so far. Trying to make his way back up to that 2nd spot that he qualified in. Chad Snyder up 2 spots. He's inside the top 10 now as that 26 car really doesn't need a win here. But again, the drivers, there's not a whole lot of drivers that are locked in to the final 6. David Lurfano is one of those. And I would put Chad Snyder in that category as well. It's going to take a lot for Chad Snyder not to make it into the next round of the playoffs. Coming up on lap 25 here, we're 25% of the way through this race. We've seen all green flag runs here so far. See that pit window opening up here soon. Probably the next 10 laps or so, lap 35. Might see some guys come down as early as lap 30. Go ahead ahead and take a look at some of the last lap times. We'll throw that underneath each driver's name right there. Right now, it's Patrick McQuaid in second. Believe it or not, Tyrone Yo Jr. Tyrone Yo Jr. has the fastest lap of the race so far with a 29.36. And that's what I was talking about with him. Likes to hang out back, play it safe, stay out of everybody's way, but he has the speed. As he's showing it here tonight, he's got the fastest lap so far out of any driver. Really needing to push it, though, to make a bid for the playoffs. So here's some last lap times. You see Cameron Harris does indeed go back up to second place. He's got a faster time than pretty much anybody in the top 10. And as we see Flanagan's time, we can confirm he certainly does. Now Cameron Harris on the outside, trying to get a run on the 15 of David Hara. This would be the first lead exchange we've seen all night. And again, we talked about this outside line maybe starting to form a little bit. But as I say that, Patrick McQuaid shows us just how quicker that inside line still is. As he's on the inside now, the 27, trying to make a bid for second. And there he is, pass complete. So Patrick McQuaid continues to rise. He's up 6 total spots now. And David Hara, though, so locked in. Came in, got the pole. He's led 30 laps. And throughout this race, there's been a few drivers, as we look on at the 77, that have gotten little runs on the 15 of David Hara, but just can't really make the pass or gain enough momentum to really see past his door, to be honest with you. I mean, David Hara's been in complete control of this race, and he's continuing to do so. Still not enough from the 77. Now you see Cameron Harris about 1.3 seconds in front of David Lurfano. There's a good picture of it right there. The top 3 cars, Hara, McQuaid, and Harris, starting to pull away from the front pack here, lap 32. We'll see how accurate my pit window was. Again, I believe it'll start somewhere around lap 35. That could go into lap 40, lap 45 before an individual driver decides to come down pit road. Assuming we stay green, I don't see why we wouldn't. Pretty much everybody's single file here at Texas Motor Speedway. Here's that second group of drivers being led by the 8 of David Lurfano. Kyle Martin hanging around there in 5th. Adam Angerstein in 6th. John Higgins Jr. and you see Joshua Hetrick trailing along. Not Jeremy Flanagan. He's actually about 7 or 6.5 seconds off of 25. That's the 16 car of Nathan Christensen. Unfortunately, our first driver to go a lap down. Scootley McGootley, thanks for the follow here at Fabrication TV. This is probably the best run we've seen anybody have on David Hara down the front stretch into turn one. And you can see David just keeping on that inside line. He's going to come out of turn two. Still the race leader out of the backstretch. So McQuaid trying to do everything he can. It's tough to run Texas on the high side, make a pass to these next-gen cars the way McQuaid has been trying, but it's his only option. I mean, he gets a run in the draft like he is right there on the front stretch. Coming down into turn one, you at least have to poke your head out to see if you think you can get a run. And there's only so many times that you do peak before you're like, hey, I got to go. Let's give it a shot. And unfortunately, they've been blank so far. Looking at the top three drivers, Cameron Harris, they have extended this lead. Cameron Harris has on the tail end of this three-car pack. Over 2 seconds to fourth-place driver David Lorfano. And the rest of the gang here, again, Anger, Steve, Hetrick, Kyle Martin, John Higgins Jr., that car on the back end there, that's not for position. And here comes Tyrone down into the pit. So a little bit later than I expected. I figured lap 35 we'd start seeing some green flag pit stops, but guess I can't always be right here in the booth. But as I say that, David Hara drops to third. So finally, the pass has been made. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of how that went down there. Oh, and it was David Hara. Patrick McQuaid finally squeezed them out of that high side, or excuse me, on the low side, and took control of that low side, was able to complete the pass on David Hara. So good job by the 77. I mean, he kept in it there. That took a lot of work. But again, was finally able to get a strong enough run to be able to get on the inside of the back left quarter panel of the 15, which kept him on that high side line. So good job by Patrick McQuaid. Boss Malone with the gifted tier 1 sub. Appreciate that, guys. Appreciate the follows, the subs, the likes. Well, there's no likes on Twitch, but you can go ahead and give us a thumbs up in the chat. Pretty much the same thing there, but we appreciate you guys tuning in here Tuesday night. This is Truckers Feed America series presented by Top Seal Trucking. Tonight's race being brought to you by Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. And this is a cutoff race. Look, we came in with a ton of playoff drivers. We're cutting them down to 6. This is the last race of the first round. Only 6 drivers making it out of here tonight and heading into round 2. You guys are tuning in for the very first time and you like what you see, even though this season is coming to an end. This was their second full season in the Cups. Last year they did the Gen 6. This year in the next gen. They also run trucks on Sunday nights with their sister league or lawn care. Look these guys up on Facebook, All American Racing League, actively recruiting drivers. It's a league that has pretty much already gone through their growing pains, so you're not going to come into a Discord that's flustered and no communication and toxic. Right now would be the best time to join this league. So as Patrick McQuaid made the pass onto David Hare on lap 38, he's been in control of this race. We've seen this out of McQuaid with Hare. Now Cameron Harris trying to do the same to Patrick McQuaid and give him a run for his money for this top spot. But it's just been so hard to come up with the momentum. It's from what we have seen so far, there's certainly going to be no passenger overtakes on the outside unless if the inside driver makes a mistake for whatever reason or has just shot tires. So I think what McQuaid was able to do to David Hare is going to be very rare here at Texas, forcing him up on that high side. Charlie Dickey coming down pit road now on lap 47. So we were off by a lot. I wasn't too sure what fuel percentage these guys were given here tonight. I might have been a little bit harsh on what I thought these guys would have. So lap 48, the majority of cars have stayed out, but here comes David Hare now, John Higgins Jr., Jeremy Flanagan. These guys coming down pit road now on lap 48. And now Patrick McQuaid coming down pit road. I was going to say, every time we go check out the pit road action, we have a lead change. But this time it was because the leader came down pit road. Cameron Harris decides to stay out. Now a whole bunch of drivers coming down pit road. Kyle Martin, Adam Angerstein, Cameron Harris. So everybody now officially halfway through the race coming down pit road. So we'll have to see at the end of this race just how close these guys were to having no fuel left. If this is going to be a 2 pit stop, assuming we stay green, of course. If we get a late race caution, pretty much probably most of these cars coming down, getting tires, getting a splash of fuel, of course. But if we stay green here, who's going to risk staying out? We saw Cameron Harris earlier into the season, not too long ago actually, trying to save fuel out there, and he ran out. He was in the lead, and unfortunately ran out of fuel. So we'll see if he tries to do that again or if he plays it a little bit safe here tonight. David Hare back up top, though, into the lead. Take a look at some pit stop times there. You see David Hare with a 14.9. Cameron Harris, 14.7. I'm wondering if drivers like Kyle Martin, they got a 15.2, Larry Garnes 15.4. If maybe they had some slight damage sliding up into the wall and forgot to uncheck their fast repair. I wonder if that's why they're in the 15s as far as their pit stop times go. Total time spent down pit lane. David Hare with a 44.1 total time. Seems to be faster than just about anybody else out there. Not by much, but I mean, this all matters here on green flag pit stops. Don't underestimate the timing on pit road on green flag pit stops. Now, David Hare came down on lap 47. McQuaid, 48. You see Harris there, lap 49. Technically crossed the finish line, though, brought us to lap 50. And it's David Hera back up front in cruise control halfway through the race. You see the spikes there on the driver input. The throttle control there, the little squiggly line looks like well, almost like a heartbeat there, if you will. See McQuaid with a personal best of 29.378. That's the fastest with inside the top 10. Actually, no, Tyrone Yo still with the fastest lap of the night. And Tyrone up 2 spots inside the top 10. So, as Charlie Dickey and Adam Angerstein and Nathan Christian still all a lap down or more. And here comes the race leader, David Hera, looking to put more cars a lap down, coming out of the tail end of Chad Snyder here. Chad running in 12th. He's going to check up high, let the race leader, David Lafano, David Hera on through. See in the relative right now, David Hera with a 3.3 second lead over Cameron Harris. So I mean, absolute cruise control right now for that 15. Patrick McQuaid, 3rd. Kyle Martin, 4th. Joshua Hetrick, currently in 5th, with John Higgins Jr. behind him in 6th. David Lafano still hanging out in 7th, but he's all by himself behind John Higgins, over 7 seconds John Higgins is, and behind David Lafano, Larry Garge, but he's 3.6 seconds back. So he's kind of out in no man's land here in Texas. So far, so good for David Hera. Really, I mean, he did lose the lead before choosing ultimately to come down pit road. But other than that, it's led probably about 90% of this race. Kind of surprised to see Chad Snyder back there. Kind of broke the draft with David Hera. I mean, obviously they're not teammates or anything, but Snyder getting a lap down. Certainly doesn't want to lose any more time than needed on the race for David Harris. I figured he would have been glued to his back bumper pretty much till the caution came out. Cameron Harris back in second, but he's getting passed by the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. Can the 99 of Kyle Martin do the same? Yes, he can. So the 27 car is starting to fall off now. He's on that high side. He's going to bring it back down low and get behind the 99. We got a three-car battle for the second. Patrick McQuaid being hunted down now by the 99 of Kyle Martin as we hop onto the nose cam of the 99. Getting right back onto that back bumper of Patrick McQuaid, but just really hard to make a pass here at Texas. Kind of just dug into the car behind you. Not a whole lot you can do. If you get a good run on them and try to poke outside, you're certainly not going to get enough momentum to make a pass. You see three Chevrolets leading this race. Hera, McQuaid, Martin, Cameron Harris coming in at the first Toyota. And then it's all Chevrolet after that through the top 10. And beyond. In fact, there's no Ford representation in All-American Racing League. Back to the relative. You see David Hera up over 8 seconds on these guys down to 5th and 6th. Right now, we're on board with Kyle Martin, who's 3.8 seconds behind David Hera. You see Dickey a lap down. That's probably going to be his playoff run over here in the first round. He needed a good finish along with a little bit of help. I don't think that's going to happen. So Charlie Dickey in the 37 with just 30 laps left, seeing his playoff chase come to an end here tonight. If that were to stick, Chad Snyder would be the first car to get the lucky dog if we do get a caution. David Hera extending his lead now to 4 seconds. The second place driver, Patrick McQuaid. Looks like Tyrone coming down pit road, lap 70. It's how to be his second green flag pit stop. Larry Garnes up to 7th. Coming up on some Tyrone Yo, Adam Angerstein, some lap traffic here. Coming up on just 25 laps to go. We've been green this whole way here in Texas. Of course, big track. A little bit of a lower car count for these guys here. Some drivers deciding to give these playoff drivers a little bit of extra room out there tonight. I'm sure they appreciate it. David's also going to appreciate this pull from Johnny May. That's the 69 car. As long as Johnny has the speed. And it looks like he's actually going to check up high and let David around on the inside. We'll see if that's what plays out. And of course, David could really, really try to get past the 69 and just get as many cars between himself and second place driver Kyle Martin. Or he could have chose really to let off there a little bit and try to just draft with the 69 of Johnny May. He would have been pulled by the 69 and pushed by the 26. But he's in a rhythm. He's in a groove. He's not going to hang around and find out what that would have done in the long run. He's going to make the pass on both those cars and continue to grow his lead. Almost 5 seconds to Kyle Martin. Martin quietly having a pretty good night here, being able to race with the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. That's no easy feat. McQuaid, certainly a fast driver each week here in that 77 Muffler Man Chevrolet. And Kyle Martin's been a fast driver here for the last 2 seasons. Every time he's out there on the track, he can certainly carry the speed. His issue, and I think he would admit it as well, is just trying to stay consistent throughout the race. Oftentimes we've seen him up here in the front and either get tangled up in a caution or hit the wall, lose some speed. So he knows his main priority. He knows he's fast. He knows he can go out here and collect some checkers, but he's got to stay a little bit more consistent. Right here with 22 laps to go, taking that second spot from Patrick McQuaid back on lap 75. Been having himself a nice run here at Texas. As we've said a few times here tonight, this is a cutoff race. Only 6 drivers going to be advancing to the second round of the playoffs. That's going to be November 30th. And that's going to start off with Talladega. That's going to be called here on Faded TV. Before December 7th, those guys head over to Phoenix. We'll hand over the broadcast to a different company. That announcement to be made at a later date. December 14th, Martinsville. So that's going to be the last race of the second round of the playoffs before the championship 4 at Nashville Superspeedway. I mean, what a awesome second round. You got Talladega, you got the updated Phoenix, and you got the paperclip in Martinsville, a brutal racetrack to be at. To make that, the second to last race to be the Final 4, and then to cap it off with Nashville Super Speedway, a phenomenal playoff schedule that these guys brought this season. And I've really been just honored to be a part of this series as long as I have been. Back up front, though, 18 laps to go. And as it said in chat, a Larson-esque domination if it stays green. And that is exactly on the money. Coming in here taking pole, knowing that he wanted to give himself a little bit of security in the points. David Hera came in with that fifth spot. He was only up by a handful of points, excuse me, on Patrick McQuaid and Charlie Dickey. So David coming in here tonight at Texas with wanting to leave no questions at the end of this race, whether he belongs into the final six or not. If he's able to take this win, salute to him. That'll be his second win of the season and his second overall win with All-American Racing League. We've talked to him off broadcast and on the broadcast as well about making the switch over to the next gen and really not having much seat time with it, as a lot of drivers haven't here on the sim, and really coming in with little to no expectations, and him and teammate David Lurfano really just picking him up fast. I mean, David Hera with the early win, David Lurfano with 4 wins, Cameron Harris with 2. I mean, there's a handful of drivers that picked up these next-gen cars and have really been doing a good job. And speaking of Cameron Harris, that's going to be David Hera putting him down a lap. That means only 6 cars now on the lead lap. That's Hera, Martin, McQuaid, Higgins, Garnes, and Hetrick back there in 6th. 7th, starting with Chad Snyder, Jeremy Flanagan, Johnny May, and Cameron Harris, who currently sits in 10th, all a lap down. So you want to talk about domination, you're looking at it in that blue-gray customs plastic fabrication 15. And it's been David Hera all night long. He's got the race sponsor on the hood. He came to show out. I'm sure he put in 100 laps here at Texas Motor Speedway. He was not losing this race here tonight. 14 laps to go. Of course, anything could happen. We could see a caution or 2 still, maybe some hard driving through the middle of the field, but it doesn't feel like that. Everybody's kind of, even when they're racing with each other, there's still a little bit of that buffer between the 2 cars. We really haven't seen anybody get even close to each other, close to what would be a caution. A caution-worthy pass, if you will. I don't know. They call it a turnover-worthy play in football. We got to figure out a definition for that in NASCAR. A caution-worthy move, a caution-worthy pass, something along those lines. You heard it first here at Faded TV, though. When that blows up and announcers all over the world and they start keeping stats like that, for these drivers, just remember, you heard it here on Faded TV, a caution-worthy pass. That's what I'm going to go with. Like it, leave it, hate it, I don't know. Kyle Martin now 15 seconds back from David Hera as this race coming up on 10 to go. John Higgins Jr. in 3rd. You see the gap that Kyle has on John Higgins. You see the gap that Higgins has on Patrick McQuaid. Almost 4 seconds as he's back here with Larry Garnes and Joshua Hetrick. David Lurfano sitting in 11th right now. A lap down, that's pretty rare. Johnny May coming down pit road now. And really, we talked about it with Cameron Harris when he came down on lap 49, exited pit row on lap 50. Was this going to be a 2 pit stop for everyone? Now, Hera, he's got the lead. It's up to 16 and a half seconds and still counting. If he wanted to sit out there with 9 laps to go, if he felt like he needed to save fuel, he could save fuel for probably the next 3-4 laps here at Texas. So I don't think if he wanted to, he could probably stay out till the checkered. And more drivers now coming down pit road as Johnny May has left pit road. Charlie Dickey had made it down pit road as well on lap 81. So some drivers choosing to come down. We'll see if race leader David Hera has been saving some fuel if he's able to make it to the end of this race. I don't think we've seen such a dominant performance here all year. Now, in a single race, I'm saying David Lurfano dominated the regular season. Let's just be real here. He came in with 4 wins tonight. And there it is, 7 laps to go. Race leader David Hera. He's not going to risk it. He's not going to try and save fuel. He's going to come down. He's going to get a splash of fuel. Might get tires. We'll see. But really didn't look like he was struggling out there. He was still able to run that low side. We're going to stick with the 15 car as he's still about 13, 12, 10 seconds. Here comes Kyle Martin. He's going to take the lead from Hera momentarily. Now, will Kyle Martin have some tricks up his sleeve? Well, he tried to save fuel. He's got nothing to lose. He's not a playoff driver, so he could go for the win here tonight. You see teammate David Lurfano now getting that lap back on David Hera. And a pretty big pretty big pit stop for that 15 car. Let's take a look at the time on that pit stop. Yeah, so he certainly just came down for some fuel. The only driver right now in the top 5 that has come down pit road for the second time. Back up front, though, Kyle Martin with just 4 laps to go. Oh, Jeremy Flanagan crashed. No. Why? Chad Snyder involved in this. We were about to go all the way through without a caution. And if Kyle Martin did plan on saving fuel and was going to risk it for the biscuit and try to win this race, that's not going to happen this time. Let's go ahead and see what happened with Jeremy Flanagan here. Yikes. See that pace truck coming off like a bullet. Now, it said Chad Snyder crashed here too, but I don't think he did. He may have got into Jeremy Flanagan, but God, I don't know about you guys, but one of the funniest things, one of my highlights of the night is watching these pace cars and the pace trucks just fly off pit road at 90 miles an hour. It's great. So now, everybody coming down, including David Hera. Now, you might be asking yourself, David, why is David coming down? He's got the fuel. Yeah, but under yellow conditions, a lot of these drivers are going to be coming down and getting a full set of tires. So, yeah, David could have stayed out, and he would have had the fuel to make it to the end, but he would have gotten eaten up with the tires. So he's going to come back down, get a set of fresh tires. He's got that first pit box there, all eyes on the 15, and he is going to take all 4 tires. So that's why he's coming down pretty much back to back. Kyle Martin, Joshua Hetrick. Oh, boy, here we go. It's going to be Martin, Hetrick, Hera, Harris, the top 4 on this restart. It says Larry Garnes is up front, but I think he's going to get the wave around before it's all said and done. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But what a bummer right there. You know, a single car coming off pit road, fresh tires. I get it. Hey, I ain't knocking them. I get it. But just the situation, the timing, so disappointing. Now, do I enjoy the fact that we have a little bit of late race excitement? Of course I do. But it would have been a true testament to come out here at Texas Motor Speedway, get all 100 laps done, no yellow flags. It would have been great to see if David Hetrick could have made that push back up to first, if Kyle Martin was going to try and save fuel. Maybe Kyle was saving fuel. Maybe that's why he was the 16 seconds behind David Hetrick, because he was back there previously saving fuel, and he was going to make it to the end. So it would have been exciting either way. We're going to line these guys back up. We're going to do a green, white, checkered flag. I assume that we will have no issues doing it the first time, but as they say in motorsports, cautions breed caution. So when these guys get lined back up too wide, anything can happen here, especially these drivers that are on the outside looking in, which would be Charles Dickey, Joshua Hetrick, Patrick McQuaid, and even Tyrone Yo. As it looks like Tyrone Yo's a lap down, so is Charlie Dickey. So unfortunately, I think their playoff run's going to come to an end here. We'll wait. I don't want to say anything unofficial and things like that, but some of these cars, I do believe are waiting for the waiver. The 26 car of Chad Snyder, the 69 of Johnny May. You see John Higgins Jr. up there behind the pace truck, because he's currently showing 8th in my live timing. Yeah, okay, here come the waiver rounds. John Higgins, Chad Snyder, Johnny May, and there it is. So Larry Garn's not getting the waiver round. He's deciding to stay out, and he's going to be on the inside of row 1. So he's got the fuel. 2 questions: does he have the speed, and does he have the tires? 3 laps to go. Green, white, checkered. Remember, we have to get to the white flag for this thing to become an official race. These guys do get, I believe, 2 chances at a green, white, checkered. So all right, pace truck off, hearts are beating, palms are sweaty, mom's spaghetti. Larry Garn's going to be starting on the inside of row 1. Kyle Martin. Again, I really do think he was saving fuel. He was so far behind David Hetrick on that inside row. Joshua Hetrick on the inside with David Hetrick on the outside. And there is the 99 getting a jump for the lead. Can he get a clear on Larry Garns going down into turn 1? They're side by side. The 25 of Hetrick on the inside. Now Kyle's going to have to be careful here. He doesn't want to get stuck out there on that outside line. And here comes Hetrick. He's fighting for a playoff spot here tonight. He takes over the race win, or the race lead, excuse me. Some foreshadowing going on here. Oh, and we do have the caution. No! This race was about to be official with Joshua Hetrick leading on the last lap, but Charlie Dickey crashed. Tyrone Yo Jr. crashes. We were a bumper from this thing becoming official. Let's go ahead and take a look and see who spoiled the party back here and brought out our second caution of the night. Hey, that's what we said, though. This is why they say, whoa, Tyrone, what are you doing, man? Jesus. I tell you. What in the world? Unfortunately, I missed the pace truck that time around. I wish I would have caught it. But what the heck happened there? Come on. Keep the car straight. Let's go. Unfortunate for Charlie Dickey and Tyrone to get wrapped up into that. Nate Christensen went off track as well, but he's about 30 laps down or so no big deal there. But so right now, it kind of feels like Kyle Martin might have gotten robbed of a win here. Joshua Hetrick might have gotten robbed of a win. Remember, we've seen, over 100 laps now. We're going into our second overtime. Nobody can make a pass here. And cautions breed cautions. That's what we saw there. We grouped these guys back up. A driver getting loose off of turn 4. Is that going to happen again? Are we going to get a whole lap through and start, getting into this rhythm of wrecking? Hopefully not. And can somebody make a run now on Joshua Hetrick? We saw Larry Garn start the previous restart in first, and he dropped all the way back to 8th. Talk about a landslide there. Now, we did talk about that 20 car not having fresh tires, so we kind of knew he was going to fall from grace there a little bit. But Hetrick, Harris, Martin, all these guys up front, McQuaid, Hera, Lorfano, teammates sitting back there 5th and 6th, they're all on even tires. So you see the 99 car down there on the infield. Some drivers like to do that on iRacing, and they say it keeps the tires nice and cool and, whatever. Guys trying to pull out all the stops here. Now, I will say the 99 of Kyle Martin does have the advantage of being on the inside this time. He started in second on the outside of row 1 last restart. We've seen here all night long, the outside line just does not work. You get pushed up to that high side and you're stuck there, nowhere to go, and you watch the whole field pass you on the inside. That's what happened to the 99 last time, but it was a little bit of a blessing because he was able to come across that line when the caution hit in third. So he's going to be on the inside now of Joshua Hetrick. And I'll tell you one thing, if there's one thing that 99 car is good at, it's on a short run. It is. He's one of the fastest cars in this league on a short run. Can the 99 car make it past the 25? Can Cameron Harris on the outside kind of break that rhythm or that curse, if you will, of being on the outside? You have Patrick McQuaid on the outside of row 2 working with Cameron Harris. David Hera going to be in 5th. He's going to be behind the 99 of Kyle Martin, trying to push his way back up to the front in what we thought was going to be an absolute dominating race performance by David Hera. It still is, but what is it worth if you don't come home with the win? And of course, his teammate David Lorfano in 6th. So here we go. Pace truck will be off this time. Bye, iRacing. Get your cameras together. We don't need none of that right now. No stutters. Let's go down the backstretch under yellow for the final time. Cameron Harris, though, another driver, really good on the short runs too. So again, though, I have no confidence personally on this outside line, and especially on the restart. We'll see how much room he gives the 25. Now, Hetrick's gonna have to stop blinking here, get that under control. Let's switch to Cameron Harris. Okay, so there's Hetrick. Obviously with the huge advantage, being able to go when he wants. We're not going to be able to keep up with him, though, if he keeps blinking. So we'll switch back to the race for a second. That's Kyle Martin on the inside of Cameron Harris. Here comes the 8 of David Lofano on the inside. Kyle went up high. I think he's going to have to be careful doing that if he wants second place. David Lofano get a run on the inside and sends it. It's not going to be a whole lot Kyle Martin can do as far as defending goes. Here's the white flag. Here is the official Oh, and Kyle Martin gets under Cameron Harris, and that means Joshua Hetrick really going to walk off with this one. A little frustrating that he keeps blinking. You see the whole field crashing behind Kyle Martin. That's on him. We got drivers that are all over the track here. Oh, I'm really sorry, Hetrick. I'm about to miss. Okay, there we go. Hetrick crossing the line, getting his win, followed by Patrick McQuaid and Cameron Harris in third. David Hara fourth, and believe it or not, Kyle Martin able to save that and come away with the top 5. Let's stick with Kyle Martin here. Let's see if that switches. It does. Okay. It looked to me. Let's go ahead and just rewind this. I'm not going to fiddle around with the live timing. Let's just go ahead and rewind. This is what I was talking about. Kyle Martin was setting it way up high when he really didn't need to down the backstretch. And I was worried that Lofano was going to be able to sneak in on the inside. It was actually Cameron Harris that did that. See, Kyle needs to be defending that inside line, and he just simply isn't. And because of that, it allows the 27 car to get on the inside. And then, of course, we see all this carnage happening at the half here. Chad Snyder involved. And so it looks like for sure Lorfano, I believe, I don't know if Snyder's safe now. All these drivers were really close. Lorfano, Cameron Harris for sure, David Hara for sure, those, and McQuaid. McQuaid bringing home second. That's going to be a for sure. Lock it in, going to the playoffs. David Hara as well, I believe, finishing fourth. So those are the top 4 drivers. Lorfano, Harris, Hara, and McQuaid. Now, as far as the 5th and 6th spot goes, Hetrick's going to get that for sure. He's going to get one of those spots. He took care of business. He won the race here tonight. He was only down 4 points to McQuaid and Dickey. So McQuaid's going to move up, Dickey down. And then where'd John Higgins Jr.? He landed 7th. So that would be my 6 unofficial, making it into the round 2. Lorfano, Harris, Hara, McQuaid, Hetrick, and Chad Snyder. Either way, look, I'm not gonna, not gonna go down that road. That's just unofficial. We'll take a look at the points throughout, when it's posted and whatnot. But what a finish there. And unfortunately, it all started with that 2 car, Tyrone Yo, causing that first caution of the night. Just a disappointment, really. What was a phenomenal race. You hate to see things like that, but it does happen, All right, let's slide into Discord here. Cameron Harris, 3rd. Patrick McQuaid, 2. Hey, Patrick McQuaid in the 77 car. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, coming in on the bubble a little bit, you were tied with Charles Dickey. Now, of course, Dickey getting, he was a lap down relatively early on. And I don't know how much you were checking in your relative or the standings, but really doesn't matter. Bringing home a P2 there on a chaotic then, certainly tying you into the second round of the playoffs.
Oh, great. That's great news. I didn't know the point situation as far as like with Josh winning and all. I knew he was, I believe, 4 back. But yeah, I didn't know if I was going to make it because of that or not. But yeah, I was checking pretty often and see where everyone was.
Well, I think I'm not the official guy here, but I was just doing the math, and yeah, Hetrick won, which is going to put him in. But with Dickey sliding down, John Higgins Jr. getting 7th, Well, I mean, he did have a 14-point lead. I'm not going to say anything about playoffs. I'm going to let those guys figure it out. So before I even get anybody else's hopes up, McQuaid, I apologize if my math is wrong on that. But
Oh, you're fine. Hetrick said I probably made it too because he doesn't think there was bonus points for winning either.
now I will say whether you did or didn't, it's been a heck of a season, and putting yourself in that position, you did the best that you could, right? I mean, the points are going to take care of the points. You have a job to do out there on the track. You did that tonight. Texas, though, man, it was a little bit of a sleeper track out there. Talk to me a little bit about this package and just how hard it was to pass people.
Yeah, just basically like any other mile and a half. You floor it until the tires kind of get worn. Then you start to lift a little bit. So you kind of have to set up the passes, when you get side by side on the straightaways. But yeah, it was pretty difficult to pass. Other than 1 and 2, I would say that'd be your best bet to pass.
Yeah, now of course I know you got some shout outs, you got some sponsors on the deck of the car. Feel free to give out any shout outs and thank yous.
Yeah, I appreciate it. CBDMD, Muffler Man, Project Dynamic, Alpha Lion. Yeah, great sponsors. One Mind, Two Design, created the paint scheme for me and all my paint schemes, so they're great. They actually have a Black Friday sale coming up, starting Black Friday. It lasts all months, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what you wanted, right? You needed me to lead you into those sponsors. So we got it
Yeah,
right this time, McQuaid. Hey man, thank you for your time. Congrats on P2. And again, we'll just have to sit tight on the numbers, on the points.
I appreciate it, Faded.
All right, second place driver, Patrick McQuaid. First place, Joshua Hetrick in the 25 car. Josh, we just talked with Patrick McQuaid. Nobody knows if he's in or not. I led the interview with saying, hey, congrats, you're going to make it in, because I really do feel like with the way I was looking at the points, I didn't realize that John Higgins Jr. was. I mean, he had a really good cushion up there, tied with Cameron Harris with 1090, and then you coming in with 1072, winning the race here. I don't know who's going to advance and who's not, but you know. We'll find that out soon enough. Talk to us about Texas. There's that late caution. You had just taken the lead, by the way. I wasn't too sure if that was gonna, deter you from winning this race or not. You were able to get that lead back and bring home the checkered.
Yeah, it was interesting there at the end. Like everybody's still trying to figure out the points thing, and I did everything I could. I mean, all you can do is go win the race, and the rest is up to fate at that point. So we got to figure out where everything falls from there. But that last restart, or the previous restart, got to the inside of Larry. He was on older tires, kind of set sail, and I'm just watching the relative, and I was up on McQuaid. He was in fourth, so I'm like, oh, we're good. Came to the line, I'm like, white flag, and the yellow came out, and re-rack and do it again.
Well, as the has-been Kevin Harvick once said not too long ago, like I told you before, we don't race for points, we race for wins. And right now, tonight, Joshua, doing a little bit of both. You needed the points, you needed the win, you got the win. The rest will take care of itself. But yeah, congratulations, P1 here at Texas. It was, we talked to McQuaid a little bit. It was difficult for you guys to pass out there. It really seemed like everybody was taking care of the tires as well. Talk to us a little bit about the trip around Texas and really how you had to navigate your way through the field. And then, of course, the exciting end there with that late race caution. What was going through your head on that?
From the start, I just kind of wanted to keep the Orlon here 25 car out front. Felt like we had good speed. If I could keep it clean, these things get very tight in traffic, so you end up being that second or third car in a pack. And as you're getting in the corner, you got to back it off, and you end up losing a little bit of time coming out. And then that second run there, everybody, that was all a fuel strategy thing. Everybody was short. I was about a lap and a half short, so I was clutching it going into turn one, just trying to kill the motor and see how much I could save. And then that caution came out. It kind of gave everybody a second hope, but we'll see where it all finishes out.
Yeah, I really did. And I truly believe Kyle Martin was saving fuel because he had allowed David Harrer to get up on him about 16, 17 seconds after those second green flag pit stops. And I was sitting there like, Kyle's usually pretty fast. He wasn't, behind him after that, as far as 17 seconds, that's a lot. It started clicking. We were coming up on 3 laps to go, and a couple of these guys had not pitted yet. So I'm assuming there was a handful of drivers that were really trying to risk it, trying to save fuel, trying to make it to the green. But we won't ever see if that was going to pay off or not. Joshua Hetrick winning here at Texas Speedway, and everybody kind of waiting around to see if they made it in to the second round of the playoffs. Josh, we thank you for your time. Good job winning. Before we let you go, any thank yous or shout outs?
Just want to give us a shout out again to War Lawn Care, Capital Sign Company, and this whole Assault Motorsport team. We got big things coming next season, and even if we don't make this round, we're just going to keep learning and get ready for next season.
That's what you like to hear. Joshua Hetrick, race winner here tonight. Now, real quick, just to update you guys on that, he had 1,072 points. Charlie Dickey and Patrick McQuaid were both tied in front of him with 1,076. Charlie Dickey certainly out. Patrick McQuaid with a P2. No bonus points for winning, we don't believe. So McQuaid, by default, would have more points than or it would be around the same points, I suppose, as Hetrick. So it really just comes down to Higgins, who had finished 7th. He was tied. He had 1,090. So it's we'll let those guys do the big brain math. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll figure it out. We'll surprise you guys next week. Tune in next Tuesday to see the second round of the playoffs. That's going to start at Talladega. What a banger to bring in the second round of the playoffs. We appreciate you guys tuning in here to Faded TV, All-American Racing League, Truckers Feed America series brought to you by Top Sale Trucking. We'll see you next Tuesday. As always, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time.